Okay, so it's a round figure that has been set as a target for the Kiwi teams. 170. That's the magic number for New Zealand if they are to reach the final of the T20 World Cup. South Africa were, of course, put into bat. It was a crucial toss to win. End of the day, maybe at one stage it was looking like 140, 150, but then it reached a stage where you would have probably looked at 180. Anyway, I think the way the first half of the match panned out, South Africa would take this, and it is by no means an under par total. I know we're looking at it as being the same venue. In fact, it is the same venue where India chased down 196, but that was a different day, different conditions. So it's going to be a good game. And you reckon South Africa has made a match out of it, or do you think no, small ground, Dew coming in, quick outfield, should be easy?
I mean, they've definitely made a match out of it better than where they were at 1.77 for 5 at the halfway stage. At that point in time, you're thinking if they can get to even 140, 150, they'd be happy. So they've got about 20 runs more than that. I think they'd be happy. Although I think they could have been at 180 if the tail-enders were trying to give Marco Jansen the strike. What was Corbin Bosch thinking? What was Kagiso Rabada of all people thinking? Why are they looking to hit big shots when the one player who's hit 5 6s in the match is at the non-striker's end? And I'm thinking, give him the strike. No, we'll look to hit. We'll be the heroes.
Follow the Keshav Maharaj template, na? Nicely done.
So easy. Just took the single and got the man on strike. Obviously, he couldn't hit after that, but at least the idea was correct. I'll not fault that. I will wonder what Corbin Bosch was trying to do. And same for Rabada. Very, very silly. 180 here, I'd have been extra confident saying that, listen, no.
Yeah.
South Africa have the bowling.
I think those last 4 deliveries, they've gotten 3 runs, if I'm not mistaken. So last 4 deliveries, 3 runs. You're looking at least 10 runs of the last 4 balls. I mean, that's the bare minimum you look at. So you're, in that sense, 6-7 runs, which you could have gotten, and it makes a huge difference, chasing 178 vis-a-vis chasing 170. All of that is going to come down. But yeah, same question. Would New Zealand have taken this at the toss?
New Zealand, both hands. In fact, you add another 5, I would say 10 runs as well. They would have taken
180?
They would have. They definitely would have.
I agree with you. They would have taken it had it been the same pitch in the same conditions.
Let's get to that as well. I'd like to know from you guys as well what you make of the pitch. I heard the commentators just touch upon it on a couple of occasions as well.
We try and not hear the commentators. So that is a good thing.
Exactly, yeah. I do have a feeling we may have differing opinions to say over here about the pitch. But if you ask me, very strong reasons I feel.
By the way, what were the commentators saying? Because we watched the match on mute.
There was a mention, I would say. Again, I don't think there was anything conclusive per se because they were waiting for the second half of the innings to pan out as well. But there was a mention about the ball stopping on a couple of occasions, and if this was a slowish wicket in comparison to the other wickets that we've seen. We've not seen too many underlight matches over here at this venue. Remember, I think it's the only second time that you're seeing a match being played under lights, because the West Indies India match was the first time under lights that Eden Gardens had hosted a match in this tournament.
Are you sure? None of the league games?
All of them were all day matches over there.
No, because I remember that England versus Italy game. No, but that was a 3-7 game, so not fully under lights.
Yeah, so just
semi.
Day night.
Yeah. Because East, the 5 p.m. gets dark.
Exactly.
So it would have been half under lights.
But that was the mention over there. If again, just a cursory sort of a mention over there.
Okay, forget what they're saying.
Yeah, but I'll answer that in just a bit about the pitch, what I feel. But 180, even at the toss, I feel they would have taken. I think they'll be very, very happy, New Zealand, with what they've done over here, despite that little bit of resurgence that you saw from Marco Jansen. Again, at some point, that resurgence from the South Africans had to come in as well. You do expect, they're a top side after all. Yes, you may have had their first 5 wickets for under 80 runs, but you do expect top sides to notch up a competitive total by the end of it. I think that's all that the South Africans have managed over here. It could just be because they've got a all-round side and they've got quality bowlers. They can make some match out of it, but at the moment, I'm now from where we were about 90 odd minutes back. I think the tables have turned a bit. I don't think the South Africans will be as
that they've turned. That's for everyone to see. What I want to know from you, if New Zealand takes this, as you said, they would have taken it. So you're picking New Zealand to win this one.
I absolutely am.
That no. So in that sense, I feel, and I haven't heard the commentary, and so just looking at it, and just from the naked eye, I remember a couple of deliveries, even when the ball was new, stay so low. So low, even for the fast bowlers. That actually shocked me, because the last game that I really saw closely was the India match, and that was a fantastic pitch, ball really coming onto the bat. But when I suddenly saw those deliveries stay low as they did, I was wondering, what is this pitch? And then I saw some close-ups of the pitch. There were a few cracks. I could make out, I mean, again, just looking at the eye test, it was dry as well. So I think if I take that into account, India pitched the match that India played, if 190 was par total, I'm cutting about 20 runs now, and I'm saying 170 is the par total. So with that in mind, I think on this pitch, this is a bang on par total, and I'm putting this game 50-50 as it is right now. Having said that, the only thing that can change that pitch or make batting rather easy would be is if the dew comes about, and dew is predicted. Though I must say that I saw some pictures on live broadcast. They have that dummy cam that goes with the wheels, and that's the best indicator of dew, and that wasn't catching any dew at the moment. But we always know that it's around this time that the dew starts setting in. So it'll be an interesting one. I'm saying if the dew is not very heavy, if it can be under control, like I think it was in the India game, I don't think it really went out of control. I don't know whether it was spray, because I even heard Suryakumar Yadav say it later that it wasn't as bad as that they thought it's going to be, but it is still a factor. I think it can be game on. If there is dew, then I'm going 60-40 in New Zealand's favour. If the dew is not going to make too much of an impact and just marginal, controllable, I'm going 50-50 on this game.
Yeah, I think it depends on the dew, because with the dew, I'd say New Zealand they have a batting lineup which is, by the way, very deep. Cole McConaughey is their number 9. So that's a deep batting lineup, and they'd bet themselves to chase 170. But if there's no dew, then it would require a bit of adaptation. Having said that, we're talking about the pitch. Obviously, considering my franchise plays in this particular venue, I've seen a fair few of these kind of pitches. So you get 3 kind of pitches by and large in Eden. One is the kind of short fronts you've been getting for the past 2 seasons. Those flat wickets where you can bowl anything from mystery spin to mystery pace. It doesn't matter, you're getting top.
The ones that upset Gigi.
The ones that upset Ajinkya Rahane.
Ajinkya Rahane as well, yeah.
He basically had to wage war and lost that war with the main curator. That's one kind of pitch. The second kind of pitch is the one which you remember from the Gautam Gambhir heyday, the 2012 to 16 types, which are slow, low, 130, 140, KKR would play 5 spinners and 1 pacer sort of wickets. Then you have those which are a little bit in the middle, where the pacers might struggle a little bit, because again it comes on nicely. But if you've got spinners, then it'll stop a bit, which is, I think, what kind of pitch today was. The spinners were definitely making merry.
So from your memory, tell us, with those you mentioned the 3 kinds of pitches. So this kind of pitches, what happens in the chase?
If I'm being honest, there's a lot of this thing, and I don't have Siddharth's memory in this regard.
No, not, but general. I mean, not.
I think general it'll
any
depend.
Specific example of any game, but generally.
Generally, I think it'll depend really on the dew. Really, because if it doesn't stay dewy, the pitch should play more or less like this. In which case, South Africa's spinners, I mean, in hindsight, now I look at the team, they could have really used what was his name, George Linde. They could have really used the Linde in the 11, but I think they were expecting a kind of pitch that we got in the India-West Indies game.
And let's not forget, Lungi Ngiri's made a name for himself with the cutters. So
actually, that's what I was very surprised at with even some of those New Zealand pacers.
They didn't go for cutters.
They didn't go for cutters. I'm thinking
not much.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I think Henry tried, but he got tongued for a couple of sixes. Couple of them
but you should
pace
also
up,
be.
But then he did go to. He reverted to a slower one.
So it's not about slower one now.
It's
not about. It's about deceiving. In the slow.
He did try the cutter over there, but again. Jansen did manage to read that. I do feel, why regardless of the conditions, why I feel that they're still under par at 169 is for the simple reason you look at the top 3, top 4, you didn't get any runs. In fact, let's look at the top 5 batters of South Africa. Did they get out because of the conditions or the or how good the delivery was? None of those things. They got out because of their own mistakes. Look at all 5 batters from top to number 5.
No, but those mistakes are caused also
induced.
primarily correct
Yeah, exactly.
of the conditions.
So no,
of the conditions.
You look at Quinton de Kock's shot. That shot you'd already gotten a boundary. You would hit a 6. You were trying because fields up, etc. It's a Rachin
Yeah.
Ravindra you're looking at. I'm going to go for it.
Paul
Was
McConchie.
McConchie over there. I'm going to go. He's a part timer. Going to take the initiative over here, loses his wicket. Again, Miller as well, already given a reprieve, same over, takes a chance, finds
But
the fielder.
that's what I'm trying to say. No, they take exactly if it's a good pitch, that same chance for which he loses his wicket clears a boundary.
Yeah, good example being Rickleton. The ball he got out to was a nothing burger. It was a half tracker and it was
finds
wide
the
and spun
fielder,
away.
yeah.
In
He
fact,
found the fielder.
The trap was set, falls for the trap. Miller
But I'm
just
saying
falls
most
in the same trap twice in the same over.
No, but I'm just saying no, because most time he backs himself to clear it.
Yeah.
And Miller, by
But
the way,
then
fell
if
to
the
left arm.
ball's not coming on,
Yeah, and that ball didn't spin.
a McConchie,
At
that
all.
I think it was a hat-trick delivery that again stayed so low.
Ah, it was distance stuff. He had no idea where that
He had no
ball
idea.
was.
He was playing for the spin, went
But
straight.
I'm just saying,
and
so it's down to the conditions also. no?
Yeah, of course.
So I don't know whether I just do to some casual batting or that batting is because of the conditions that were on offer. On that, I'm a bit surprised that McConchie just bowled at 1 over. I know that he's an off spinner. They bring him only for the left-handers, but. I mean, at
I
a
could
time
see
when
that
your
coming.
fast bowlers are going for so many runs, you could have. I mean, compared to a Jimmy Neesham, I would trust him even against.
Neesham is a bit like Dubey. You have to bowl him for 2 overs.
Correct.
The third over is a risk. And that third over was a risk.
In case of Dubey now, even 2 overs are a risk.
True.
But,
So
at one point, that was the case.
At one point. yeah.
it felt very much like you were looking at a Dubey over there in Neesham, because 5 bowlers you knew who were going to be the 5, but I think with the way that South Africa had their bowling in place today, felt very much India to me, because 5 bowlers you knew, but the 6th bowler you needed a combination of a McConchie and a Neesham to be filling in for those remaining overs.
It's interesting you say that because not too long ago, Rachin Ravindra wasn't looked at as one of those 5 bowlers. He's at an outstanding tournament.
For
He's
all
bowled 4 today.
for
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for the good
so
time
so,
that
so
he-
now we take it for granted he was one of your 5 bowlers, which wasn't the case.
Yeah.
He's shown you in this particular tournament that he
yeah.
can be. In fact, till even halfway through this tournament, you only regarded him as okay, maybe Sri Lanka conditions you'll use him. Not
Yeah,
here.
we've seen that for a while now. His numbers in ODI cricket are far better than his numbers, both with bat and ball, in T20 cricket. And this tournament is a bit of a, it's come about as a bit of a second coming for him. It's given him some sort of second wind over here, because otherwise we've seen him be found wanting in the IPL, where franchises have given a huge sum after, especially the 2023 IPL 24. He got big
Who
bids.
picked him this time?
KKR.
Ah,
what I'm
man's
saying.
coming with some good bowling form.
That's what I'm saying. Right now, it feels like I'm watching a KKR match. Seifert and Allen are opening.
I think, by the way, that's where the game is. New Zealand's openers are their strongest.
Guess who's the number 3? Rachin.
I know. But I think, like, basis what the rest of their batting lineup has been doing,
Yeah.
I think this is it. If you get their openers
But
early, then
if
it
the
is a
openers
game.
aren't gotten early,
Then they've gone.
Yeah.
Then
They've
it's
taken it.
KKR for the win. Kiwi Knight Riders.
Seifert stays around for the 4th over of the power play. It's already trouble for South Africa.
I agree. And that's why I think this battle, even Jansen's going to be a crucial bowler,
You know
as
what
he
I
was
would
the
do?
last time.
No,
they
you know
played.
what I would do? I'd get a spinner on.
No, sure.
Both of these guys early on
Sure.
are a little sus against spinners.
Sure. I mean, Maharaj is a good option to bring.
Yeah, maybe even Makram is bowled in the power play. I know right-hander, so you might not go for it, but no harm going for the risk.
No, they will. But why I'm saying Jansen, he's gotten some runs as well and tends to pick up wickets. I think the last game 4 wickets he picked against New Zealand.
Don't forget that test match against India, the second test, he got a 50, and then the innings after that he came and took a fifer.
Yeah.
He has that ability.
Gunplay. Batting also. Absolutely good one. Okay, let's quickly take comments before we wind up. Ujjwal and Nagun.
Can't say the full name, but Ujjwal it is.
Ujjwal, okay. Only Jono, I'm a fan of Nick Nas. Thank you, Ujjwal. Yeah, very, very kind of you. Very nice of you to have said that. Do join us in the post-match show. We'll have longer discussion. This is a mid-show, so it's always short. Rakesh Bhushan.
Says both these teams on big occasions tend to falter. South Africa put runs and they have some good pacers who can bowl slow balls, cutters, other varieties.
Yeah.
On a bigger platform, chasing such scores are never easy. I agree.
Agreed. And we have
Knockout pressure is a real thing.
Semi-final, sir. Semi-final of a World Cup it is after all. Though there's one team that soaks up pressure, the best is always New Zealand.
That's the thing.
Compared to most other teams.
And compared to especially South Africa, yeah. Let's be
No.
fair.
Yeah,
No, I'd say even India on occasions, or Pakistan. Look at most teams. I think New Zealand's one of those teams always
They're always
the
cool.
balance.
Kane Williamson might not be around, but his that cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, vibe is there.
Correct. Rakesh Bhushan says Indians never practiced yesterday during scheduled time quoting lunar eclipse. Today we saw them at Siddhivinayak. Our Indian team seeking divine intervention and luck. What's the mood in the camp, Nikhil? Abhishek, is he playing? Thanks for all your questions, Rakesh. I know, to each his own. Yeah, I know a lot of people consider it inauspicious to be out during the lunar eclipse, so they do it. I'm not a believer in those things, so I'm not the best person to answer. But if any of you are, I don't know.
No, I don't believe in any of that.
Yeah,
I have fair respect to anyone who does.
Yeah, I'm not even much for divine intervention as well. So I believe the words of MS Dhoni, process. Go through the process before a game or whatever. Do that.
Results will be there.
Results will come. No amount of divine intervention or eclipse or anything will help you. But again, as I said, to each his own. If it gives you confidence, it gives you belief.
Nothing like it.
Then so be it. Let that be the case. Okay. But his point is, what's the mood in the camp? Well, our man on the ground, Siddharth, is there. He's been doing plenty of videos. He was there at India's practice and of course England's practice. So he'll let you know more about it. But I think it's good. It's at the Wankhede. India has some good memories there. Yeah. So I guess a lot of local players, either from Mumbai or from Mumbai Indians. So that'll add to it. So I guess it should be good. But again, it's a semi-final. Winner takes it all. What I'm hearing from the team, at least in the press conferences, they don't seem to be too stressed about many things. So
including Abhishek.
Coming to Abhishek, if I was to believe what the press conference suggested, we had Mone Mokal who came in for the press conference. It did seem to suggest they might go with Abhishek still.
Yeah.
He basically said that his situation is a bit like Sanju's a few months back, and it's just a case of waiting for him to kind of rediscover that touch. That is a big hint. We're saying, listen, we're not dropping him.
Yeah. Oh, that's gone. That's your first wicket
like
coming.
A cat on a hot tin roof anyway.
No!
Has he?
Quinny has dropped it.
Yeah, he has.
He didn't judge it.
Didn't judge
didn't judge it. Should have allowed. But I agree, the fielder always will allow. No, but whenever there's a keeper.
Gloves.
Yeah, with a keeper.
Yeah,
and he must have asked for it, the keeper.
Almost ran to fine leg.
Yeah. Drop catch. Have you dropped the cup? Let's see this one closer.
Good shot ball, by the way. Very good shot ball.
There you go.
He
never
got
judged
there.
Big time.
I think
See, the fielder was right there.
Yeah, he left.
Yeah. He should have allowed the fielder,
ground for him to cover.
but the fielder had to go back because the keeper said mine.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure.
100% Brevis would have.
He's running in. He's
gone.
misjudgment.
Also, that's what happens. You'll trust the person with the gloves.
Yeah.
Instinctively.
Yeah. Quite naturally, unless the keeper itself says no, not mine, yours.
But that looked like the way Brevis pulled out suddenly. It felt like he got the call.
He actually took more than 3-4 steps back, so he was almost there.
Good shot.
These lucky boundaries.
That didn't look lucky. I think that he knew what he was doing.
Really, it's gone through the slips, huh?
Yeah, I think
Got in the middle of
prodded.
this, eh?
But
He
I'm
prodded.
just saying, nobody will take that
Intentional
risk.
prod.
Yeah, that was intentional.
Intentional prod. Intentional.
No, this is Finn Allen we're talking about. He's been a pretty risky taker batter.
Yeah,
in
because
recent times.
you don't know exactly where. If there's no slip, you go for it. But with 2 slips
This is a
there,
very risky
you're
shot.
not doing that.
Very risky shot.
Yeah, good on him. Let's see how it pans out. Any more questions, Pawan, please? Do we have quick ones? Piyush Nandre says South Africa winning, but it'll go down to the last over. Oh, would we love that?
I like what Ashish there has to say. Why are commentators unable to read the pitches? Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's flat. Today, by the way, everyone seemed to be talking about a belter, Kolkata. Look what you've got.
Because sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So
Kabhi winner?
that holds true for the commentators. But some of the commentators, are very good-natured about it. They've come out and said that so many years of playing and so many years of doing everything, and yet
The final algebra is
we can't figure out what the pitch is. Is that the second drop catch?
By the way, it did
I
look like
think
it.
so.
Yes, and
They've
against
dropped
Seifert.
another one.
Yes, that's
Yes,
a catch
they have.
dropped. Oh no, that fell away.
That
Short.
didn't carry at all.
Okay. I was like that.
There's a lot happening over there.
South Africa can't.
Yeah, both batters, by the way, don't look settled at all.
Finn has played one ball.
I think what they're trying to do.
Seifert, the whole of the first.
Seifert has looked terrible. That I agree.
No, I think what they're trying to do is like get as many runs in the power play because they know it might get tough.
See again that same shot.
Yeah, but
This time he didn't quite time it.
Yeah, and also this time I agree like he's
More
going for
room.
third man.
There was more
like
room.
really
over there.
wide of the slip. Okay, Sarat Chandra is saying both teams choke big times. Harshit, you surely are a jinx maker. You said two of the best fielding teams in preview and New Zealand dropped few dollies.
And now South Africa also dropped.
Africa.
That is okay, we'll take your
Maybe
leave,
it's the law
guys.
of averages just catching up now with both teams.
Yeah, we'll take your leave. Look after
Yeah.
yourself.
Enjoy
But we're not
should
going to
be
be
a nail
away
biter.
for too long. We're going to be
Yeah.
back soon. Another hour and a half. Unless it goes to the super over.
yeah.
So see you then. Bye bye.
Bye.